one of the lines from the scene that's not in is that unseen prisoner says to him, he says, "It's almost our anniversary, isn't it?" And you realize that they have a relationship that exists before that character. Who is the character that you think he is?
Matt Reeves, in a time when directors are fighting tooth and nail to get as much footage as possible into their final cut, how do you get a 3-hour cut of a movie released for theatrical?
I mean, honestly, I have to thank Warner Brothers for respecting the vision of the movie. And the movie is, look, it's so many things. Obviously, it's a propulsive spectacle. It's a horror movie, but it's also a very intricate detective story. And I wanted to do the world's greatest detective story for Batman because it hadn't been done to the degree that I wanted to in a movie, and they let us do it. And so it's a very expansive kind of story. We're swinging for the fences here in terms of trying to give you a vision of Gotham that's new.
I'm not lying when I tell you that when it ended, Matt, I was pissed and I would have sat there for another 3 hours because I just loved the environment. So is there a longer cut? Is there more time that we might get to see later?
There is not. I mean, one of the things that I have to say that I am incredibly grateful that Warner Brothers let me see the movie through the way that they did, and that it's the movie. This is the cut. I mean, there's not some cut that's waiting to be seen. There is a scene, a couple scenes that aren't in the movie because I didn't think that they worked in the movie to make the best movie, but they're scenes that I love. And after the movie is out, I will absolutely want to release these scenes because I think they're really cool to see. There's another Arkham scene that involves the unseen prisoner that you see near the end of the movie, and Batman goes to him in order to profile the Riddler because he's being written to. So that's a scene that I'm really excited about. And there's a really cool scene with Colin, with Penguin, where you see Selina go to him and you get a little glimpse kind of into a little bit more of his character. So those are scenes that I think we'll probably release in some way as deleted scenes, but they're not part of some cut that I wish. This is the cut I wanted to make. And the one that's in the theaters is the one that I intended. And I'm really grateful that Warner Brothers let me do that.
Oh, that's outstanding. I can't wait to see those scenes. So if this is year 2 of this particular iteration of Batman, how much thought did you give it to who he might have confronted in year 1?
Well, you know, the unseen prisoner is one of the characters that he would have confronted in year 1, and that's how he ended up there. So they have a relationship. There's actually one of the lines from the scene that's not in is that unseen prisoner says to him, he says, "It's almost our anniversary, isn't it?" And you realize that they have a relationship that exists before that character. Who is the character that you think he is? Before that character becomes that character. He hasn't yet declared himself that character, but they have a relationship that begins very, very early and is very, very sort of, they're sort of entwined with each other in a very specific way. And I think the idea in the comics that the Rogues Gallery characters create themselves in response to the appearance of this vigilante in Gotham who becomes known as the Batman, I wanted this character to be a character who hadn't yet declared himself, but all the seeds were there.
I'm out of time, but we're getting you for the Real Blend podcast a little bit later on today, so we'll go even geekier, Matt. So thank you for your time.
Awesome.
I appreciate
Thanks, man.
All right,
Talk to you soon.